Hey everyone, it's Midnight Spectre here, and I'm still a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to record a video today for you guys anyway. And I'm going to talk about my time during COVID and lockdown. Although I've never caught COVID, and I did know a few people who did, and thankfully they're doing alright now. But I kind of just wanted to share my experience during the pandemic and how I fared during it. Now, right before COVID came to the US, I was actually a bartender. Most of our patrons are older, and they would beg me to turn on the news, which was fine because generally they would hear something on the news and go off on a tangent about something and then go into a story, which made the shift go by way faster. When we were first hearing about COVID-19 over in China, we didn't really think anything about it. We all figured it was going to be a thing that blew over in a couple weeks and we'd be back to living normal life. Well, luckily for me, I ended up getting a job at a retail store right around the time the first person with COVID came to the United States, but we still generally believed that nothing was going to happen. Boy howdy were we wrong. Within like 1 or 2 months of working at the store, the COVID situation was really ramping up. I remember we weren't really sure what was going to happen because they were only talking about lockdown, and I live in generally a red area, so most people were scheming up things of what they were going to do if they ever tried locking us down, going on about how unconstitutional it was and all this stuff. Of course, me being the plush unicorn I am was just sitting there, head empty, full of fluff. I mean, I really wasn't worried about it. I was actually looking forward to lockdown because generally at the time, I didn't want to leave my house, let alone my room. So I was kind of hoping that I'd get a chance to just kind of sit down and pretty much vacation for a month or a few weeks, like they're projecting, and just game, sleep, and play with my plush. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because we were considered essential workers, so we stayed open and I had to continue going to work. But honestly, it wasn't that bad, since I guess so many people were afraid of getting COVID and the lockdown went into effect for my state. And apparently police were supposed to be pulling people over to figure out where they were going, but that never happened from what I saw. I know I never got pulled over. I enjoyed the decreased amount of traffic on the roads because of lockdown. It was kind of fun just hopping in my car and driving to work and maybe only seeing a couple of other vehicles out on the road. I had actually wished I was in school when all this happened because school was closed down super early and all the kids in my area basically ended up getting out for summer vacation at like the tail end of April, maybe the beginning of May, which was really cool. I just imagine how fun that would have been to be out of school and just sitting around and playing video games all day. During lockdown, I did a lot of garbage picking, which was a lot of fun. I actually did end up finding some plush, but most of them were pretty small or in styles I didn't really care for, so I ended up donating a lot of those. I did, however, find this giant lavender unicorn that's on my bed today. Lockdown was also kind of the time where I realized I did need some sort of mental help because I'd actually started going out more and experiencing things because there's no one out really. I remember going to the mall and going to Build-A-Bear and getting a brand new Rainbow Dash and Cheerly plush because they had a buy one get one sale, and I didn't have Cheerly, and I mean, who would want another Rainbow Dash Build-A-Bear? But I ate at restaurants, which was really nice because I was seated far away from people, and I didn't have to worry about someone behind me or someone in front of me staring at me or judging me, or some kid running down the aisle and staring at me like those pictures of the baby owl, which I'll throw up on screen here. Then the Goodwill outlet was also amazing during this time because people were afraid to go out, and there were some pretty dedicated hardcore people there that would still come out, but for the most part it was pretty chill. Of course, it started to change though, and now the Goodwill outlet is mostly just a mosh pit of resellers grabbing every recognizable plush, squishable, or good quality plush, honestly. That's one thing I hate about the pandemic and lockdown was that people, I guess, were bored and out of work and looking to make some extra cash and ended up driving up the prices of everything collectible. I remember scrolling through eBay and OfferUp, and people were almost giving away those giant Animal Alley horses, unicorns, basically almost every Animal Alley plush you can get for under 20 bucks. Hell, I even scored a really rare plush that was probably worth about 200 bucks even before COVID for about 20 bucks. And now people are commanding $200 prices for some even the more common Animal Alley plushes. Although it was nice to see that people were going around and finding plush, which gave me hope for finding more Animal Alley plushes and horses and unicorns out in the wild, as I call it. But still, I kind of wish that the prices kind of remained low. However, I love the part of the pandemic where people were going out and just being wild with creating content on YouTube, since that's where I consume a lot of my own media. Everything felt more chill and super cozy, and I suppose in terms of content, because people would just be together playing video games and just talking, there's not much else to do, you can't really go out and film skits like you used to be able to. which kind of sucked because sometimes the physical skit humor and people playing off each other was kind of funny, but it was also fun just to watch people play games and just kind of be like normal people. I did eventually discover the Gus and Eddie podcast, and it was a really nice experience because during the time when Gus and Eddie were talking on talking terms, they'd just be bros, and I'd just enjoy their company. It didn't really feel like I was listening to two famous people or two well-off people who are, I guess, I'm not sure if you call them influencers or comedians, but it didn't feel like I was listening to like famous people talk. I felt like I was listening to just like some two friends just catching up, and I was kind of third wheeling in the conversation. Honestly, I hate to say this, but the pandemic was an amazing experience for me because I felt like the whole world had a bit of a vacation for a year. Of course, things went back to normal, and I'm glad that things did go back to normal and that people are out and about again, but I also kind of miss this sort of vibe of everyone just chilling at home and not having much to do. Most people around me hated lockdown, but I silently enjoyed it. I think 2020 and 2021 were my most active years of going around and doing stuff. I bought like so many plushies. I mean, during the time I even met the love of my life, and I realized I need to get the ball rolling on figuring out my mental health. I just want to thank everyone for watching my video, and I hope everyone's doing well. So stay tuned for next week's video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.